We've all been there, right? Standing at a crossroads, having to choose between what's easy or convenient and what we know is actually right. Well, this exact conflict is at the very heart of an amazing ancient story from the Dhanañjānisutta. It's a powerful tale about a man who tried to use his everyday duties as an excuse for, well, his moral failings. And that really forces us to ask this huge question right from the start. Can our responsibilities to our family, our work, our community ever really be a valid excuse for cutting ethical corners? It's a tricky one. Let's dig in and see what this story suggests. All right, so our story kicks off with one of the Buddha's most respected disciples, the Venerable Sāriputta. He's on the road, traveling, and he bumps into another monk. He asks for some news from his old hometown, and specifically he asks about a man he knows, a Brahmin named Dhanañjāni. Now, pay close attention to the word he uses. He doesn't just ask if Dhanañjāni is doing okay. He asks if he's being heedful or appamato. This is such a crucial term. It's not just about paying attention. It's about being spiritually diligent, earnest, really on the ball with your ethical life. Sāriputta is basically asking, is this guy still walking the talk? And, well, the news is not good. Not good at all. The monk says Dhanañjāni is the opposite of heedful. He's apparently running scams, using the king's name to exploit regular folks, and then using his connections to exploit the king. And to top it all off, his faithful, devout wife passed away, and he's since remarried a woman who is described as being without faith, or a saddha. You can imagine, Sāriputta is pretty worried to hear all this. So as soon as Sāriputta hears this report, he just changes his plans. He knows he has to go see this man. When he finally tracks Dhanañjāni down, he doesn't beat around the bush. He gets right to it and asks him that exact same critical question. My friend, Dhanañjāni, are you being heedful? And here we get it, the core of the whole problem. Dhanañjāni doesn't even try to deny it. Instead, he comes up with an excuse. He basically says, heedful? How can I possibly be heedful? I'm drowning in duties. It's a luxury I just can't afford. And man, what a list of duties it is. He starts rattling them off. He's got to take care of his parents, his wife and kids, all his servants and employees. Then there's his duties to his friends, his relatives, to guests, to his ancestors, even to the deities and the king. And of course, he's got to keep himself alive and well through it all. You can almost feel the weight on his shoulders as he lays it all out. But Sāriputta's response here is just brilliant. He doesn't say, oh, those duties aren't important. Not at all. Instead, he systematically takes apart the whole idea that these responsibilities could ever justify acting unethically. He goes right down Dhanañjāni's list. He starts with a really powerful hypothetical question. He says, okay, let's just imagine you do something crooked for your parents, and because of that, the guardians of hell, or niraya, come to drag you away. Do you think your parents could step in and tell them, hey, leave him alone, he did it for us? And Dhanañjāni's answer is immediate, and it's brutally honest. No, he says. In fact, he says they would just have to stand there and watch as he's thrown into hell while screaming. It's this stark admission that when it comes down to the consequences of our actions, we really are on our own. And that's the whole point Sāriputta is driving at. He's showing that there are two ways to live. You can act wrongly, the path of adhammakarya, or you can act righteously, the path of dhammacharya. His argument is that you can absolutely fulfill all those duties you listed, but do it ethically. The righteous path is always the better way, and our obligations are never ever an excuse to abandon it. So the story jumps forward in time. Dhanañjāni is now very sick, gravely ill, and on his deathbed, suffering a lot of pain, he sends a messenger begging Sāriputta to please come see him one last time. And of course, Sāriputta goes immediately. When Sāriputta sees how much pain Dhanañjāni is in, he uses this incredibly compassionate teaching method. He essentially builds a ladder in his mind. He asks, which is better, hell or the animal realm? Then, which is better, the animal realm or the realm of spirits? Step by step, he guides Dhanañjāni's mind up this ladder of possible rebirths, moving from the worst suffering towards brighter and happier state. And when Sāriputta gets to the top of this particular ladder, he asks, what's better, the heavenly realms or the Brahma world, the Brahma Loko? And at that moment, something just clicks for Dhanañjāni. The idea of this sublime, peaceful world completely captures his attention. Sāriputta sees that spark and thinks, okay, that's the one. Let's focus on that path. And the instructions he gives are incredibly specific and practical. He tells the dying man to just fill his mind with boundless positive emotions, to let them radiate out in every single direction. He teaches him to develop universal loving-kindness, or metta, deep compassion for all beings, karuna, joy in the happiness of others, mudita, and a profound, unshakable equanimity, upekkha. So, after giving this final teaching, Sāriputta takes his leave. A short time later, the Dhanañjāni passes away, and just as he had hoped, he is reborn in the Brahma world. So it was a successful rescue, right? A happy ending. Well, not exactly. There's a twist. You see, when Sāriputta returns and tells the Buddha what happened, he receives this very gentle but incredibly profound critique. The Buddha asks him, essentially, Sāriputta, why did you stop there? You guided the Brahmin Dhanañjāni to a good place, sure, but why did you leave when there was still more to be done? The key phrase the Buddha uses here is sati uttadikaraniye, which means just that, when there was still more to be done. And the implication is massive. Being reborn in a heavenly world is a good thing, no doubt, but it's temporary. Sāriputta, one of the wisest disciples, had a golden opportunity to guide a dying man all the way to complete liberation, to the end of all suffering. But instead, he settled for something good, but less than the ultimate goal. And that's the final layer of this amazing story. It starts with one man's excuse for doing wrong, but it ends with a very deep question for every single one of us. In our own lives, in our own practice, when do we decide to settle for good enough? When do we stop striving because we've reached a comfortable plateau, even when we know, deep down, that there is still more to be done? It's a question that really sticks with you.